Let's talk spook. I am your host, Dawn, and I apologize for my tardiness with this video. I have been sick. It is not the Rona this time, thankfully, but I have been sick, so it's been a little difficult for me to find time to record with being sick and all. So today on Let's Talk Spook, we're gonna talk about Blood Lake on Tubi, not to be confused with Blood Lake: Attack of the Killer Lampreys by Asylum. I found this movie while searching for that one. This movie was made in 1987 during the beginning of the rise of slasher films. And I thought, oh, cool, a classic slasher I've never heard of. I was wrong. This movie's terrible. But we're going to talk about it because that's what I do, so that you don't have to. As per usual on Let's Talk Spook, we break things down into 6 separate categories. Those 6 separate categories are story, acting, music, atmosphere, look, and finally creep. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Blood Lake. So Blood Lake opens with a guy gardening, and then he gets stabbed to death by a rando. He defends himself with the line of, "I just work here," and the killer responds with, "That's good enough for me," and then stabs him. Yeah, that's the opening. We don't actually see him get stabbed. We just see like the hand with the knife come down. It's not very reassuring. So then we transition to rock music, which I'll talk about in the music. I actually enjoyed the music, but there's only 4 songs. But anyway, so we transition to rock music with a bunch of jackasses driving a car with a boat attached to the back right there down the road, and they're just like goofing off while driving, which is stupid. And then we get an excessively long, boring opening credit scene, which is just them driving down the road as they go through these opening credits slowly. One of the key things about this movie is that every scene feels like it's too long. And to give you an example, in the opening credits, when they're driving to... What's the name of the lake? I wrote it down. I don't know the name of the lake. When they're driving to the lake, they even go so far as to actually show them paying to enter the park. Or whatever. Yeah. So they get to a house there after they paid for entry, and the house apparently belongs to the female lead character's family. We get an awkward dialogue about the kid going pee. Maybe it's sexual. I'm not sure. That kid. Maybe it's sexual. I don't know. And the fridge is fully stocked, and only the female lead finds this odd. Everyone else is just like, oh, fine, just throw it out. And she's like, no, like, the last time we were here was like literal months ago. If we had left food here, it would all be rotten, but this stuff is not. Like, this is a thing, and none of them seem to care except for her. And then we get a really awkward... the dude there, the little kid, I think he's like 14. He's trying to sleep with his girlfriend, who also is 14. And there's a lot of conversation about it, and it's really weird and awkward and kind of gross. And then the murderer stalks the house for some reason. Everybody slept in the living room. And then, so there is a story. It's just not much of one. Our, like, evil slasher killer is just a dude in a cowboy hat. Yeah. So, for story, I give it a 2 out of 5. It did not keep me captivated at all. Acting. Every line is stilted. The Oklahoma accents are excessive, and all of the dialogue is awkward. So 1 out of 5 for acting. Music. So there are only 4 songs. They're all done by the same band, a band named Voyager, which I could not find online. The only thing I could find when I tried to find Voyager online was a Journey cover band, which this is not a Journey cover band. They did their own music. Music's actually, it's generic rock, but it's not horrible. I mean, you can get into it. 2 out of 5 for music. I may have been a little tough on that. I really hated this movie. It was so bad. Atmosphere. There's literally no atmosphere. Every scene, until the climax, is just drawn out and needlessly long. The opening credits, they go water skiing, and it's just like showing them water skiing for like 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. And nothing is happening. They're just water skiing. And then the climax happens, and it's just like boom, 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 end of the movie, explain what happened. And I'm just like, what? So atmosphere, 1 out of 5. It's bad. The look, there are no real special effects, and the dude is just a dude dressed like a cowboy. 1 out of 5 for look. Creep, I don't score anything lower than 1. That is my, it's 1 to 5 scale. I don't score anything lower than 1. So therefore, Creep is a 1. If I could score it lower, I would, because this movie is horrible. It is absolute trash. I looked it up online on IMDb. It turned out that the budget for this movie was $6,000, and it shows even in 1987. Other fun fact: the director of this movie quit his job to direct this movie, and I feel bad for him because this movie is drivel. It is so bad. It's not even bad in like, oh, it's so bad it's funny, or like self-aware in its badness. It's just a legit attempt to make a horror film with no actual actors, and it is horrible. And therefore, this movie gets a total score of 1.3 out of 5 skulls, which may be the lowest score I've given a single movie. And I honestly think I dislike this more than Beware the Melonheads in the Book of Evil, because I can at least appreciate what Beware the Melonheads was attempting to do. But this movie was just bad. Yeah, so that's Blood Lake on Tubi. Okay, thanks, bye.